And welcome to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network. Good job.
I'm a pro.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it didn't take much prepping either. I'm Steve Levine. I'm executive publisher of Small Business Today Magazine. Is that your introduction done? I think
somebody turned off my mic. How funny is that?
Your son.
Oh, funny boy.
He does that.
Funny boy.
Anyway, it's our pleasure to co-host this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It runs in tandem with the magazine. The publication, if you're not familiar with it, Small Business Today Magazine is a publication for and about small and medium-sized business, although any entrepreneur will find value in the publication. It was designed to educate, motivate, inspire, and empower the aspiring entrepreneur or small business owner to achieve their dreams of big business success. You know, our nation was founded on small business for shopkeepers, indeed. And
I thought corporations just popped up immediately.
No, they didn't.
I think they're in the Constitution.
Yes.
That's right. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Can I finish? Thank you.
Okay.
I won't say another word.
7 million businesses in the U.S., 6 million are qualified as small business. Most of those are minority-owned or now women-owned businesses. But youth have come in with their own businesses or nonprofits. We call them youthpreneurs, and we've had several shows like that. And also veteran-owned businesses.
That's right.
We really encourage veterans to show them how they can start their own business and be empowered by the content of our magazine. The centerpiece of the magazine is a cover story about somebody who's built a successful business practice here without...
Sneeze the truth.
Don't do that.
Don't we have one of the cough button or something?
Yeah, no. It's this little thing over here.
Who's built a successful business practice here in Houston without the aid of a franchise or licensee relationship.
It's people who started with nothing and built something, and they give back. That's the criteria. They can't pay to be on the cover.
They have to be nominated by one of the members of the Publishers Advisory Board.
That's right.
They have to be voted
you can't see that little bitty print, but there it is.
No, and voted on by a select group that I send it to at random to vote on whether this person, A, is an entrepreneur worthy of the honor, whether they have demonstrated philanthropy, and whether they have an inspiring story. And that's the centerpiece of the magazine. But the best part of that cover story and the magazine, the most popular page is
something I created, the takeaway notes. And that is the best words of advice. Basically, every cover story is going to have a takeaway notes page, and it's just great do's and don'ts, words of wisdom. And if you have an opportunity to go to every archive of every former cover story and look at their comments at the end of the story. You may not want to read about how they grew up, where they weren't, what inspired them to be an entrepreneur, but you want to read these best practices. This would be no different than cornering your favorite person in business that you respect or a mentor and having them tell you their best business practices. And I say that you want to compile them, make a compendium of a business per se. And if you start seeing duplicates, you want to put an asterisk next to that and make sure you're incorporating that into your everyday business practices.
And some of the most popular ones of those are make sure you have a great business plan up to date, right?
Yes, give back. Always give back.
Community, right?
That's a key thing. Every successful cover honoree was looking at what they could do for the community before they were looking at what putting in their own pocket.
Exactly.
And it wasn't to be doing it because they were looking to get something. They did it because for the real reason.
And have a great relationship with your banker, attorney, financial planner, right?
And be spiritually set too. That's it.
Right. So that's some of the best advice we have that we see all the time. Other advice is the buck stops with you. You're the business owner, and you take responsibility for everything.
Treat your employees with respect,
and that's the way they'll treat their clients.
Exactly. Listen to what their suggestions are, because they're going to know more about what the problems are in the business than before it gets to you.
Exactly.
What do you always say about the restaurant? You want to find out what foods?
How good a restaurant is. You don't ask the waiter or the maitre d' or chef. You ask the dishwasher. He sees everything coming back. And most people don't understand. Even the lowest person on the totem pole still has great feedback. And when you have a staff meeting, invite your department heads to bring in anybody, to that staff meeting and ask them for their advice. First, they're thrilled they were even asked, and they might have some great information for you that you haven't heard yet. So everybody has their own perspective. Everybody sees things in their in a different way, a different point of view, POV. I'm sure Judge Mike would appreciate if I put up my hand and you tell me what you see. You're seeing a palm, 4 fingers on the left and thumb on the right. But what I'm seeing is the exact opposite. And when you got litigants come into court, they both see things from a totally different perspective. So, and that such it is in business. So you want to ask everybody what their advice is. Take care of all your employees, and they'll take care of your clients.
That's right.
One of my favorites was the worst idea executed is far better than the best idea you only
think about. Exactly.
I think you could meeting yourself out of a great idea.
Yeah.
Meeting and look at it from every perspective. And you put 5 people in a room, there's going to be 6 different ideas, right?
And they refer to that as paralysis by analysis.
That's pretty much what it is. So anyway, that's the publication. You can go to the website. The March issue, yes.
Yeah, the website, sbtmagazine.net or smallbusinessmagazine.com. The March issue is up and posted
early
because we are finally catching up. There we go.
Right.
This is a cover honorary. This
Don't
is
look
a
for
proof.
November, December, January,
That's
February.
right.
They're not there.
Okay, well, things happen. The flood.
But this is a
set us
compilation of all those months in one.
That's right, and we're going to keep on going forward.
Right.
And one thing I want to reiterate: every successful cover honorary of every publication we've done, the one thing they share in common is they always think about giving back. And one of the things that we discussed that when we started the publication, that we want to highlight local not-for-profits, events that are going to benefit the community, because that's a lot of national companies are supported, nonprofits supported nationally. So I always believe wherever you are, support local business, but always support small business, and always support local charities. And that's why we have Judge Mike Engelhart here today.
That's right, because we support the Houston Kosher Chili Cook-Off.
That's right.
Really
That's
is
right.
A kosher chili cook-off. We're going to discover why in a few moments and what makes it so special. We've been part of this for 3 or 4 years, Barbara.
3 years, I thought. Three.
3 years with but we've been going before that.
I know we've been going before that.
Attendees, but now we're sponsors. We're proud of all the organizations we sponsor and the charities we give to or donate to or on the board of, and that's how we give back. And I'd like to think when we were flooded out of Meyerland, that a lot of blessing we received because how we bless others. We weren't looking for that. We weren't looking for, well, if I do this for that, maybe they'll have to have me.
No.
But it all fell into place.
It just, one of those things. I've never been a taker, so it was kind of awkward, but I realized, hey, now's the time. We will, in turn, be able to give it back later, but right now it's our turn. And
that's right.
Again, we're making a comeback because we were flooded with this help.
When you bless someone, you're blessed. Maybe not in direct proportion, maybe not right away. We're an impatient society. We hit the mouse click. We do hit the mouse to do a PayPal donation, and we expect something right away. Where is it? I don't see it. I get very impatient. But anyway, that's a little about the magazine. You can still get a complimentary digital subscription to Small Business Today magazine. You can go to the archives. I think we have about 18 or 20 of the back issues on there and the current issue.
And we've got hot links on there where you want to find out about a subject or a writer.
Not quite yet.
We're working on it. It's coming in there.
And then all the radio shows. And all the great guests are archived there as well. So you can go back and listen to whether it's a small business owner, whether it's a charity, whether it's somebody like we had Robert Allen earlier this week, CPA about startup and business and keeping track of the books and what have you. So it's a lot of great information here. So
and again, the website is being fixed every day. We're totally redesigning it, and it's getting better every day. So it's SBTmagazine.net
or smallbusinessmagazine.com. We'll take you there, become a subscriber, and like us on Facebook as well.
Okay, do I have time to talk about Judge Mike Engelhart here that's sitting here? He is a big guy.
He's a big guy.
He's been the judge of the 151st Civil District Court since 2009. That's a long time. He's a 1995 graduate U of H Law Center. Mike was
Cougars.
Association. Yeah, There, he wasn't. Mike was an associate editor of the Houston Law Review, and he practiced for 13 years in all state and federal courts in Texas before his election. And he's board certified in personal injury, trial law, and is on the board of directors of the Texas Association of Civil Trial and Appellate Specialists. And he also Appellate. Excuse me, I got into those kind of things, and
it's
I don't.
It's not about apples.
It's not about. It's appellate specialist, and he was. No, okay, well, he also served on the Board of Trustees of Congregation Brith Shalom Synagogue, and he won the Public Sector Achievement Award from the University of Houston Law Center Alumni Association in 2016. And he lives in Bellaire with his wife of 20 years, Eva, and has two amazing teenage boys, Joey and Zachary. I know one's 16 and having a lot of fun.
He's being a 16-year-old boy.
Yes.
Just leave it at that.
I remember those days. Yes, I do.
And we're going to be coming right back and talk more about the Kosher Chili Cook-Off. And you're listening to Small Business Magazine Talk Show on the
SBT Magazine Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Paul Marcus, owner of Affordable Searches, your premier investigation company specializing in comprehensive background checks nationwide. Business owners know one of the most important things to do is the hiring of employees. However, if you make mistakes or you don't check them out thoroughly, this could lead to problems. Some of the problems may be unsafe business environment, possible violence in the workplace, negligent hiring, lawsuits, and a turnover of employees. Our website has a wealth of information for you to read and learn how to run the correct background checks. We are also available for free consultations at 1-877-685-6691. Visit our testimonials page to see what our current customers say about us.
And welcome back to Small Business Magazine Talk Show on the
SBT Magazine Radio Network.
That's my favorite part of the show is that yelling out. But anyway,
we need like a musical tag to go with that.
And Barbara and I have as our guest Judge Mike Engelhart. And
since 2009 you've been elected. That's pretty darn good.
I was elected in November 2008 with our current president, Barack Obama, and I was reelected in 2012 when he was on the ballot. And this time I'm going solo. It's going to be somebody else on the ballot. But I'll be on the ballot in November. That's right.
Well, we'll look forward to casting our vote.
I'm an election judge.
Oh, good.
That's right.
I've done that as well.
Supreme Court.
Yes, they must have lost my number.
Oh.
They haven't called yet.
He actually got to be an election judge the last time because I couldn't be there.
It's a great community service to sit at the polls and make sure that everybody gets a chance to cast their vote who's entitled to vote.
We always joke. He can't do the joke. I can, because I'll tell everybody when they're leaving, guess what we're doing? Do this. And they said, now you're pole dancing.
Boo.
Ignore her, Mike. She'll stop.
I see.
No.
I have a feeling she will not.
Mike, tell us about how and why you got involved with this event.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's see. I was very active in the men's club at Congregation Brith Shalom, which is my synagogue. And one day they were looking for people who would help because they were going to field the team for the Kosher Chili Cook-Off. They wanted someone to go to one of the meetings. And so my mother taught me how to make chili at a very young age. It was one of the only dishes that I could make that actually tasted good. In fact, when I was courting my wife, one of the first times I made dinner for her the first time I made dinner for her was chili. And so it has a special place in my heart.
Oh, good.
Because we've been together for 20 years now.
It's wonderful.
So chili must have worked.
Yeah, mostly because of the chili. And so chili, when I heard the word chili, that has a special place for me. I said I could do that. And so I went to the meeting, and I was hooked. There was a great group of guys who were very dedicated. They welcomed me, and really at that point I was just a representative of our synagogue. I was not on the board or part of the cook-off itself, except to gather information and report back to our synagogue's team. But I went to a few more meetings, and then I started to have suggestions and ideas, and they would bounce. They asked me. They knew I was a judge, and so they sort of, for whatever that's worth, they would ask my advice about things or legal things. I can't really give legal advice ethically, but whatever. I just sort of became actively involved with it. And then at the time when they decided to form a corporation, they asked me, because I had been active, to be part of the board of directors. The initial board of directors of the corporation, which is the Greater Houston Kosher Chili Cook-Off, Inc., or something like that. And now, years later, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
That's wonderful.
So that's how I got involved. And then, the first couple of years, actually, when I was involved, I still cooked with our synagogue's team. And then I became more, I started to feel like it would be unethical for me to, conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I'm on the board. Now, I don't get to vote on the chili or who wins.
Right.
But it still would look a little funny. So I've stopped cooking with the synagogue team, and I've been just on the board.
Brith, isn't that where Gary, your brother-in-law Gary's a member at Brith?
No, I don't know. But my parents were one of the founders of Brith Shalom. No, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's on Bellaire Boulevard, just inside the loop.
And it may be so. I don't know. But my parents were one of the founders of Brith Shalom. We lived on Weesatch in Bellaire. Actually, across the street was Bellaire, and Houston annexed 1951 or whatever. My parents were there 49 to 51. I was born in 52, and City Houston annexed our side of the street.
I didn't know that, but. The shul's been great to us. We love living in Bellaire, and it's we actually been members for about 10 years. My parents moved down from the Northeast and didn't want to go to the bigger conservative shul, and so we decided we were members there. They had heard really good things about this new rabbi, Rabbi Teller, who was at Brith Shalom, and so my parents and my family and my sister and brother-in-law and their 2 kids who also moved down from the Northeast, we all joined together, and we've been very happy there.
Well, it goes back. My great-grandparents were one of the founders of Beth Yeshurun, and my parents were one of the founders of Brith Shalom.
So you are a pillar of the community.
I guess so. Even helped to found a temple, became a temple in Missouri City. Bethel, because we were having services in our houses, is how it started out. So the same situation, out of necessity, became created something great that's now lasting long after we're going to be gone.
And one of the founders of the and if you have don't, and feel free to interrupt, but one of the founders of one of the initial organizers of the Kosher Chili Cook-Off, and I think it was modeled after at least one that has been very long-standing in Dallas, at a synagogue in Dallas. But one of the founders was Josh Berry. He was on the initial group of organizers, and he sadly passed away in a really terrible car accident. And his wife
were killed
a number of years ago, and their children, I think 3 children were in the car with them, and they were very, very badly injured.
And we know the grandmother.
Yes, Sue Perla.
So some of the initial beneficiaries of the event were the Berry children. The community, all of Houston has really come together to help support those kids. Otherwise, but they were some of the initial beneficiaries, and and I do think that we continue to support them through this event.
That's wonderful.
But we have different beneficiaries this year, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, well, I want to ask, because we went to a barbecue cook-off for the Northwest. It was a baseball, and we were telling people about. I told people about.
It's a dad's club.
Right? That's for the baseball team there. And I was telling them about kosher. I said, but you have to do certain things different, and it has to be. Certain things are provided.
Right.
And certain things are you have to know how to do and take classes in. And I didn't know what the deadline was that. But go through some of the prerequisites for somebody that wanted to be an entrant. How would that work?
All right. Well, if you want to, the way to be an entrant is you have to have a team. And so there's an entry fee to have a team. It's $500 to have a team. Every so often, very rarely, we will give somebody a discount for a good cause, or waive the fee completely in certain. But that's really one team a year or so maybe qualify for that. And when you pay the money, most of that goes to buying the beef. We buy in bulk from a facility. I can't remember the name of the vendor, but it's changed over time. But in the Northeast, and they supply hundreds and hundreds of pounds of kosher ground beef, which happens by its nature to be very high quality beef, and it's delicious. And that is the principal ingredient in kosher chili at our cook-off. We supply the meat, so you don't bring in your own meat. And we also have a category of vegetarian chili, and so some people make it without the meat as well. In addition, so the meat is delivered on the morning of the cook-off. But prior to that, to put your recipe together, your representative from your team has to come to one of 2 kosher primer classes. where the rules of kosher cooking generally are explained to you, and as specifically as it relates to this kosher chili cook-off. And for example, the man that comes and lights the flame. That's not I can never remember them. I don't wear a yarmulke. I'm not one of the great things about this event is that we have the entire Jewish community is represented, from the most religious Orthodox Chabad members to all the way to Reformed synagogues, and I'm squarely in the middle. And my vocabulary is poor.
It's not the shomer. It's not the shomer.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But there's the guy that lights the flame. But you also have to bring your ingredients ahead of time. For a week ahead of time, you have to bring all of the ingredients and the rabbis check them in and make sure that they have all the right O's and U's and K's on the boxes. So. And then they seal the box and they keep it at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, and for that week. And you can't touch it. And then only on the early morning of the cook-off can you get your ingredients back. You pick up your beef and you start cooking. And we supply all of the pots and pans and utensils and everything, and they're all
What about if you have vegetables like onions and tomatoes, can that be brought in the day? Or
great question. Things like that, vegetables. Now, don't chili powder, just because it happens to be made from a chili in a container, that would have to be brought
in advance.
But if you've got a fresh vegetable or corn or whatever it is, that does not need to be approved by the rabbis.
If it's in a can, it should be brought in advance, right?
That is correct. If you've got canned beans, and that's we can have an hour-long discussion about beans or not beans in your kosher chili, but that's always very controversial.
We'll talk about that when we come back, because I am a Texan and I have definite opinion about
how many
beans.
Entries? I know we got to go to break. How many entries?
We have almost 40 teams this year.
Holy moly. Okay, we've got to go to break.
Before we do, how do they find out about getting in touch with y'all?
They can go to www.HoustonKosherChiliCookoff.com. All one word.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And we'll be back after these few announcements, and you're listening to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
At Affordable Searches, our mission is to provide our customers with the most thorough background check possible to protect you, your employees, and also your business. We do so by contracting with companies across the country that provide us with the best information possible and in a quick turnaround time. Our turnaround times average anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Our pricing is very competitive, and we are always here for you. We're always here to answer any questions you have. Please give us a call at 1-877-685-6691, and we'll be glad to answer each and every question that you have.
And welcome back to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network. And we're talking kosher chili. And we're learning what kosher chili is all about and why it might even be better for you than regular chili.
Well, we're talking to Judge Mike Engelhart.
Beans or no beans about it. This is an amazing event.
Yeah, we were talking about beans, and I am a born and reared Texan. I was born in Houston, Texas, and I my great aunt had been here since the early 1900s, and so we definitely feel Texan, and we believe that you don't put beans in your chili. Now, what is your opinion? You're from up north, though, aren't you?
I am. I'm originally from New Jersey, born and raised. Lived there till I was about 18, and then I went to school in the Midwest, and then I came down to go to U of H for law school back in 1992. So I've been here more than half my life now.
You picked some good college to go to.
I did. Yes, that's right. Go Blue. I was at University of Michigan Wolverine for undergrad. But after spending 4 years in Ann Arbor, Michigan in the winter, every law school that I applied to was in the South.
Yeah, freeze your kishkas off there.
That's right. They froze off. So with respect to beans, you want me to spill the beans?
You spill the beans about the beans.
I apologize to your listeners.
That's all right. I like it.
Remember, this is Houston. That's why WSTON Texas.
No, I don't say it like that.
So beans or no beans? Well, let me say this. when I first started cooking, and I sort of did it all for Brith Shalom, our synagogue's team. I was in charge of the recipe, and we did include beans. And I will also say that we never won the competition. Now, I'm not saying there's a correlation. I'm just saying two separate facts. Now, we did a poll this year on Facebook, on our Facebook page, which is Houston Kosher Chili Cook-Off, believe it or not, and the results were surprising. Now, remember, almost everybody who's attached to who goes to that Facebook page is a Texan.
I don't know. Are you sure about that?
Yes, I have researched every single person, and I know for a fact that the vast majority are Texans.
All right.
And I will swear under oath to that effect. And you couldn't tell me different. But the poll, I was expecting that poll. It basically was very straightforward. Beans, no beans.
Right.
A or B. And I would have expected it to be 90-10, no beans.
Right.
But in reality, it was only about 57-43, no beans.
How funny.
And so there's a lot of people in the real world outside of the kosher chili cook-off who actually like beans in their chili. And maybe it's because they're transplants from the Northeast, and that's what it was.
That's what I think it is. That's what I'm saying. I think that even if they may be a first generation, and maybe their family was from up north and did the beans, because when you go back to Texas chili, it never had beans in it.
I have to say that I like the texture, and I like what it adds to the chili. I use dark red kidney beans in my chili. But when I'm making competition chili now, I don't use beans anymore around here. And I learned that the hard way. Now, people ask us all the time, what are the judging criteria, and what do you all think about beans? Now, again, I have nothing to do with the judging. I've never cast a vote as a judge in any of these our sixth annual chili cook-off. But it's always controversial, and they ask us, beans or no beans, and I don't think anyone. Well, the official line is there is no prohibition and no weight given to beans or not beans. It's not one of the criteria that the judges use, at least not one of the express criteria. Mm-hmm. But every judge, a lot of these judges has their own taste, and they come from our judges. We can talk about that later, but they come from lots of different walks of life.
That's what I was wondering.
Some of them are radio and TV people. Some of them are politicians. Some are cooks and food critics. So we have a wide variety.
Get the same ones each year, or you shake it up every year?
There's a lot of overlap each year, but I think we often have some new faces as well. Like I said, we have people who are food critics in newspapers and TV and radio. We have politicians. This year we're going to have Jack Cagle, who is the Harris County on the Harris County Commissioners Court precinct. I want to say precinct 4.
Been around a long time.
I think it's 4. Ellen Cohen, who is a member of the City Council and also the Mayor Pro Tem now with Sylvester Turner.
And she's been other political offices too.
She was a state representative in District 134, my district. Before that, really nice lady and very big supporter of this event every year.
Right.
In fact, this year she put together for Mayor Turner to sign a proclamation.
Great.
That now announces that Sunday, February 28th, 2016 is Houston Kosher Chili Cook-Off Day in the city of Houston.
Yay.
And we're very excited about that.
Now, being a judge, we were a judge at this barbecue cook-off a few weeks ago.
Oak's Dad's Club or something.
Right,
like
just went blank. Anyway, but the question is, we didn't know whose chili, or whatever the beef, the brisket we judged, we didn't know whose it was.
Right.
Now,
it should be absolutely anonymous.
It's totally anonymous.
Right.
And now, but they have a popular vote that people can put tickets. That's a separate thing.
We have the People's Choice Award, which is you put money in the is it the Pishka
Pushka.
The Pushka. I never get that word right. The guys listening to this. The guy.
We don't know him. Really.
I get that response because I say that in the meeting once a week, and they always laugh at me because I can never get that straight. The difference between those two words, one of them is
going to the potty, and one means put it in, like push.
That's right.
Stelevec.
Yes, and I will get the wrong one each time. Pushka.
Pushka
Is the right
like
one.
push it in. Push it in.
Okay, so right, everybody's got a Tupperware pushka, and there's a sign, and you are encouraged to go vote with your dollars for whichever one you like.
Popular.
Everybody who comes in the door can do that.
Yes.
That's separate from, and that award, then they get a trophy, and of course that money also goes to support all of the beneficiaries of our event. But the judges get numbered, but not related to the team,
right?
Or where they're located within the event. They get anonymous containers of chili, and they taste them, and then they have criteria that they use: appearance, odor, spiciness, texture,
right.
Those usual kinds of factors, and then they vote. I don't know, out of 10 or whatever on each of those categories, and of course, and then there's prizes to the top 3 finishers, and then we have, as you said, we have the People's Choice Award where the money goes in the pushka, and we have also have a Team Spirit Award for the team that does the best in terms of decorating their cooking space. So we've had Ashel House is one that is
right.
I've complained actually because they sort of crowd out other people, and it seems like they're building a 3-story condominium around their tent. Another a group from a law firm called Weiser, Kaplan, Pulaski, and Zuber has incredible. One year they had a disco theme or a 70s theme with a giant Rubik's Cube that they made, and then there was a Star Wars theme, and they had people dressed up like Princess Leia,
right? I remember
and
that
Darth
one.
Vader.
I tweeted that.
Another team, I think it's one of the funeral homes, makes really out of this world Bloody Marys, and so
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of this year. You got to watch out for the Brith Shalom team. I'm told they have a secret weapon for their Team Spirit Award. So your listeners will have to come and check it out.
And there are, like, Ashel House is a 501c3, right? They help.
I believe so.
Yes, Ashel House helps for people that have medical treatment for their families. They help support.
I believe it's akin to the Ronald McDonald
Right, exactly,
House, where
exactly.
their family members can stay when they're here in town, like with the MD Anderson or the equivalent,
right.
overseeing so they can be near their families. But it has more of a Jewish religious bent.
Exactly.
But it's a wonderful, and I will tell you that their chili has been in the top, if not the winner, for several years in this event. And I think last year, for the first time, UOS actually won the event with
How
their
about
chili.
that?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about that?
We have 2 funeral homes, like I said, and the joke with the funeral homes is always, where did your beef come from again?
People are just dying to get their chili.
I love the T-shirt.
Delete your account, as they say.
I love the T-shirt competition between the 2 funeral homes. I'm not talking about wet T-shirt. I'm talking about the T-shirts they give are both awesome.
You wear them when you go do your exercising.
I do. I have the awesome sauce. Everybody loves that. The awesome sauce one. I think that's Levy Funeral Home.
I have one of the funeral home T-shirts that says on the back, "Don't smoke, don't drink, drive carefully, wear your seatbelt. Don't worry, we'll wait."
Wasn't that Jeff? I think that's a
Maybe it
Jewish
was.
Houston Jewish Funerals.
That
Jeff
was
Friedman.
awesome.
So yeah. That's
I
cute.
think it says Jewish Funerals Athletic Department or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Which I don't know what that's about.
I know you got, other than this chili tasting, you've got a lot of other things going on at the same time. Entertainment,
Yeah.
and children's activity. Tell us about that.
It's a really fun event for the whole family. Not to sound too cliche, but it really is. There's for example, the ticket price is $10 for adults, but $6 for children.
Which is a bargain.
Yeah, it really is. It's because it's all the chili that you can eat. Plus, we've got face painting, and we've got moonwalks, and we've got climbing walls, and everybody's fun. Last year it rained, but we're promised sunny weather this year, and everybody walks around and I say this all the time, but it's really it can't be stated enough. It is the largest kosher chili cook-off on February 28th at the JCC. Excuse me, the ERJCC. I get in trouble if I don't say that.
I forget that too.
Yeah, Evelyn Rubenstein,
Okay.
JC's Jewish Community Center, is the largest Jewish community-wide event in Houston every year.
Wow.
And this year we're expecting 4,000 to 5,000 people because we've really put the pedal to the metal in terms of our publicity and advertising and you've been very generous in that regard as well, and so we're grateful
we put out
for your
the
help.
magazine to the 60,000, and we'll also we have 10,000 on social media. We'll put the flyer out again this week.
In fact, we're almost to the point where I think we're one of the things that we'll have, your listeners may be familiar with on the highway, those digital signs that direct you to
traffic
alerts, rodeo park. You've seen like Elder Alert or
right.
What's the Amber Alert is the other one. Yeah. So those signs, it almost sounds kind of silly, but this year they're going to be directing traffic on that Sunday to the JCC,
which is great.
To Kosher Chili, the Kosher Chili Cook-Off, and City Ellen Cohen has also helped us with that as well.
What's the address there? Is it 5600?
Yeah. It's at the 5601 South Braeswood.
I was close.
It's between between Chimney Rock and Hillcroft.
Exactly.
On the south side.
And what time does it open that people can get there?
The gates open at noon, but if you're cooking, you probably need to be there around 8 a.m.
And if you want to get a parking space out,
or 7 a.m.
What time should you get in line to go get parking?
Parking is difficult, so we encourage people to carpool. We encourage people to. There's a coupon on our Facebook page, and I'm not sure if it's on the website. I don't think it's on the website to use Uber. And so first-time users, I think, first-time Uber riders can get a free or discounted ride. But you'll be very glad if you get there and you don't have to try to find a parking space.
And Small Business Today magazine will be there with a booth as a sponsor, and we'll be giving away a 6-month subscription to the hard copy of the magazine.
Which is a good price. That's a good deal.
Price, yeah, so we'll do that, and we'll also do a silent auction of some type.
Oh, that's a good point about the silent auction.
Yes.
Talk about what's going to be.
So we have some really wonderful things at the silent auction. My chief job at the Chili Cook-Off this year and last year has been overseeing the silent auction. Now, I have my hands in a number of other things, and I have to do a lot of the schlepping as well with all the pots and pans, and we have more plastic spoons. I think we could last a 7-year siege with our plastic spoons alone. But and those little cups for people to sample the chili, and by the way, I forgot to say before, for that same price of admission, it's all the chili you can eat until the chili runs out. Once the teams make their chili and give their samples to be judged, they're just doling out the chili. And there's a lot of them have tortilla chips and other things to go with them. And so it's all the chili you can eat. You won't. I promise you, you will not need lunch or dinner after your day.
But you need lots of Tums.
Yeah, and we supply the Tums as well. So the silent auction this year is going to be a lot of fun. We have, for example, we have vacation homes. We have, you can
nice.
Like a long weekend or several days to somebody's Galveston home. A couple of those. We have an autographed signed baseball by Hall of Famer Houston Astro Craig Biggio.
Oh, wonderful!
We have a number of lovely art pieces that will be up for auction. We have earrings that were generously donated by Reiner's Jewelry that are worth probably $800 or $900. We have one of my favorite things, for not dollars aside. There's an organization called the Celebration Company, which is part of Jewish Family Services.
Oh, yeah.
And they are basically to me, it looks like daycare for mentally challenged.
Right. They make beautiful necklaces.
Adults.
Yeah, they make lovely jewelry and things.
And I was not familiar with them before, but they contacted us and reached out and said that they had some silent auction items, namely some artwork that their students, their people had put together, had created. So I went over there. I hadn't seen it before. Walked in, or actually it's locked because they don't want
security
people wandering in. But they let me in, and everybody there was so nice and lovely. They were so welcoming, and they had the two beautiful, beautiful pieces. One of them is on Facebook with the artist. His name is Artie, believe it or not.
Cute.
It's a little too on the nose, I know, but holding his framed beautiful watercolor painting.
Wow.
And that is an item that is up for sale that they donated to us so that we could help continue raise money for our organization and our beneficiaries. Which don't let me forget to tell you
I was
about
going to
the
ask you,
beneficiaries.
as you said that, who are the beneficiaries this year?
Well, we usually support ERJCC's Meals on Wheels,
Which is a wonderful program.
and Ashel House, and we have historically. And as I said before, also the Berry children in the past. But this year, our theme is Jewish education.
Great.
So there are 7 full-time Jewish day schools in Houston, in the Houston area, that we are benefiting. They're directly benefiting from some of the proceeds of this event, including the Robert M. Barron Academy.
Great.
Some of your listeners may remember Barron Academy was the team that fielded that had the basketball team. The school that had the basketball team that made it to the state finals. The tiny little Jewish day school, and they made it to the state finals, and there was a legal problem
because of having it on Shabbat.
Right, they wanted them to play on Shabbat for the state championship game, and so there were legal threats made, and and finally they ended up changing the date of the championship, but ultimately they lost, sadly. But it would have been a great Disney movie if they had won.
It would have been. Didn't you film some of those? No.
I filmed for Emery Wiener's football.
Yeah, they're also state champs. Emery Wiener is one of our beneficiaries. The Schlenker School, Beth Yeshurun Day School, Torah Day School of Houston.
Between all those schools, my children have probably gone to most of them.
Right. Torah Girls Academy of Texas and Yeshiva Torat Emet.
Oh, wonderful.
So all of those schools will be direct beneficiaries of a portion of a good chunk of the proceeds from this event.
Is that where Jacobian is, the Emet, the new yeshiva one, is that?
That sounds right. I was responsible for the Emery Wiener and the Barron Academy lining them up. And those schools, most of those schools are going to be fielding teams in our cook-off as well this year.
Wonderful,
Fun,
wonderful.
Yeah.
We had a scholarship fund in my late husband's name for the Emery Wiener School.
It's a great facility, and Stuart Dow does an excellent job at that school.
Once again, the website is HoustonKosherChiliCookoff.com, and the event is a week from Sunday. It's just $10 for adults, $6 for kids. Eat all the chili you want. Great entertainment, lots of fun. And
what's the age range on children when certain ones are too little, or what's it when they say children? What's the cutoff before?
I don't. I think
is it on here?
I think it's if you're a human being, you're either $10 or $6.
Okay, but I'm like you're carrying a little baby around or something. You're not going to.
I bet the guy, if you wink at the guy at the gate, maybe in a stroller, you might get away with it. But I'm not here to tell you that I know the answer to that specific question. I don't. As they say in the legal, I don't have the authority to
make a decision.
Small Business Today Magazine is proud to be a sponsor of the event, and we will be there with a tabletop promotion, and come by and see us.
And they can go on the website and find out about the auction items right now. Are they able to see them?
There's a number of them that are on our Facebook page, and we'll be updating that as we get new items as well.
I know. I bought your little thing that holds your glasses, the little nose thing.
That went with the flood. Too, yeah.
We lost in the flood.
We're going to find that and save it. And before we go to break, we want to thank Ronald Coleman, MovieWhip.com.
Jerome George Davis, our engineer extraordinaire, technical
advisor to
the magazine.
And we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Levine.
And I'm Barbara Davis Levine.
And we're with Small Business Today Magazine.
And Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show.
And we're at the beautiful dealership of AutoShopper.biz here at 15455 Kirkendall, just south of 1960.
And we are in front of a gorgeous, gorgeous XF Jaguar 2010. It's only $19,000. It is gorgeous. You can call if you want more information at 281-781-7025.
AutoShopper.biz. Everybody gets finance.
Marvelous place.
Gorgeous cars, great people.
Great owner. Very family oriented. This is Sheer and Tom and Noam and Ron.
Hi.
What do y'all think about the dealership?
I like the place. Great cars.
First time we've been here, the service is very good.
Excellent.
15455 Kirkendall, just south of 1960. And call us
281-781-7025. That's AutoShopper.biz.
And welcome back to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network. And we're talking kosher chili here. And yes, in some ways it's even better than regular chili, and we still haven't resolved the no beans issue.
It's divinely ordained to be the better chili.
Oh,
It is.
divinely ordained.
Well,
And it's judiciously approved too by Judge
Judiciously
Mike
approved.
Engelhart
That's
here.
right. I have ordered that it be that it be good. No, two things. First of all, you're right. The kosher beef, as I said before, is a really high quality beef, and so you're already starting with a great product. When we first started, we didn't use we used ground beef, and we also allowed people to order and use from us cubed beef, and some people like that in their chili. I was actually judging a different chili competition for the Houston Bar Association Auxiliary Chili Cook-Off a couple weeks ago, and my goodness, there was a lot of interpretations of exotic interpretations of quote-unquote chili. The presentation, some of it looked like sort of greenish sludge. Some of it was, cubed, and it was just basically when I was sampling it, just a Dixie cup of cubed meat. Very little chili to speak of, and others. Another one had like a cornbread roll and vegetables and celery and everything and cheese piled up on the top, and just like a little dab of chili at the bottom, and it was really hard to get.
And of course, it has to be part of cheese. It can't be real cheese.
No, well, that one. That's a good point. That one was not a kosher chili cook-off, but people always ask, well, what else makes it kosher chili cook-off? Well, for example, some people like to put a dollop of sour cream or put cheese on their chili, right?
Right.
You can't do that
Unless it's kosher.
If you can find kosher, but you'd have to get it approved by the rabbis ahead of time.
Yeah.
You can't put Worcestershire sauce in your chili
because it has fish in it.
Because it has fish in it. Not very many people know that, and we've actually had shall I say, a little hullabaloo over that in the past.
Yeah, because you can't mix in kosher. You cannot mix meat and dairy together. You can't mix fish and meat together.
Right.
And so those are the things. I by choice went to Orthodox Sabbath school. So
I mean, if you did a man on the street interview like Jay Leno used to do, and it would say, what's in Worcestershire sauce? What is Worcestershire sauce? No idea, right? I would not know, but I learned as part of this experience that you can't use it. Why? Because it's made with fish.
It's right.
So that's another thing.
It took a skish.
Seriously, to me, it's all about the toppings.
There's not really much you could do here.
Me.
Now, if I was going to make chili, and I'm not a cook, when I really want,
I don't even know where the kitchen is.
No.
I swear.
Actually, the only thing you talk about what you knew how to cook.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I knew how to cook, my mother, it wasn't kosher. She always had little filet mignons in her freezer and lobster tails. So I knew how to cook a filet outside on the charcoal grill outside.
Right.
And Toshiba, because we were one of the few first people to have a microwave oven in Houston, and they'd come and check it for radiation. I think that's what explains me. And they showed me how to make a lobster tail in the microwave oven.
Ooh,
and when I was dating my late husband, it came out perfect, milky white. It was perfect. Really was good. It wasn't chewy or anything.
Right.
And so my late husband one time was over, and I said, "Are you hungry?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "What do you want to eat?" And he jokingly said, "Steak and lobster." I said, "Great," because that was the only thing I knew how to cook. He thought I was this world famous cook.
I do like lobster. I will say that. I don't think you could put shellfish.
No, that's not kosher. That is definitely not kosher.
Or even outside of the chili.
No, it's not kosher. It can't be a scavenger. But but it has. Again, you have to realize if it's pollock, you cannot have anything that's made with fish and mix it with meat. So you can't. If it's pure soy, there's a different thing. It has to have the hechsher on it that says it's kosher parov.
Since you're a judge, but not a judge of this contest,
right.
Mike, what do you like in your chili?
I make my chili with. Like I said, if it's just for me and my family, I'll make it with beans, and I'll make it with lean ground turkey because it's healthier. I'll throw in. I usually buy. To be honest with you, I'm not that proud, and so I'll buy the mix and make it that way. Use McCormick's or whatever chili seasoning, and rather than try to measure out the paprika and the cumin and the salt and all the different things. I'm not that energetic it'll be. That's those are the main ingredients: kidney beans and tomato sauce and some some stewed tomatoes, things like that.
Let me ask you a question.
Is that the recipe you won your future wife over with? That's what I want to know.
That's exactly what it is.
I want to ask a question. Let's say I like smoky flavor.
Right.
Can I have a smoker helping, or that's not approved by the committee to have a smoker smoking the meat first before I put the ingredients together?
It is, if it's brand new, and you have the ability to power it, then I think it's okay as long as, because if it's been used, then there's concern about whether it's.
What about tiveling? Because
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, any pan that
I try not to tivel in my personal life.
all these pans and pots, and you can't just buy it from the store and say it's kosher. It has to go into a mikvah, and so. But an oven, it can be heated to a certain degree, and it's certified to be kosher. That's so I wondered about that.
In my experience, people have brought, for example, blenders to the event, and as long as they are brand new blenders in the box,
okay,
they've never known.
They've allowed. Okay, they don't have to tivel.
Very few. There's not much access to electricity, so you may want to have your own generator or batteries or something like that to run that, or battery powered kind of thing. We can't guarantee that you'll have access to electrical.
But what cuts of meat are utilized in this? You say high quality, but like I like sirloin. I like to have some good cuts of meat in my chili. That's what I'm saying, to make it really good.
I know it's expensive. I don't know. That's a fair question. I can find out and report back to your listeners, but I do not know the answer.
But you have no control of your blend of what, if you wanted kosher short rib meat and kosher ground sirloin mix. You can't do that.
Everybody gets the same ground beef at our event. That's right. So you've got to win on the margins on your
other stuff that you can come up with.
Right.
Can you put alcohol in it?
Oh, by all means. No, I don't know. No, I don't think. Since we have a lot of kids. Well, when you cook with alcohol,
it burns off. The alcohol burns off.
Yeah, I think that's been done, and I think it's okay.
Yes, it has been.
Yes, it has been. Right.
We also have adult beverages at the event. One of our sponsors is usually I want to say St. Arnold's Brewery. I hope I don't get in trouble by misstating that, but it is something like that. Anyway, they provide there's plenty of beer, whether either in kegs or containers for the adults.
I know somebody put chocolate in their chili, but I hope it wasn't milk chocolate because it wouldn't be kosher.
It's not, and some people have, every now and then you'll taste one and it's rather unfortunate. Sometimes people either they burn their chili or they just make some. There have been a couple times where it's just been inedible. Well,
that's part of the judging. If you smell it and it smells like crap, you don't even taste it. It's like forget it.
I mean, it's funny sometimes to see either the committee members or other people wandering around and saying, "Did you try number so and so? Did you really?" Oh, say
don't.
You don't.
Don't
then of course you can't resist. You have to try it because
to see how bad it is.
Yeah, to see how bad it is.
The question.
He is a question.
Yes, sir. From you there, young man in the green shirt.
Is there a certain preference, usually judging, for spice level? Is it better to go for a 5-alarm versus a 1-alarm?
So the question was, is it better to have, is there any judge preferential for the spice level? Is it better to have a 5-alarm versus a 10-alarm?
That's a great question. And there is one of the criteria is the kick or the spiciness of the chili. I don't think it's linear in that the spicier it is, the higher the score is. I think and my motto and again, I'm not a judge, but my motto in general in eating, people want to take, I've gone to Thai restaurants where people, basically they take you there on a dare and see if you can actually eat it.
And that doesn't make sense.
My motto has always been, food is not supposed to hurt.
That's right.
Good point.
And I mean, I love spicy food.
Right.
I was brought up, my father gave me jalapenos as a baby and taught me how to eat them. But I want to be able to taste.
With the mouth, right? You ate them with your mouth.
I bit them, but you don't put them on your lips. You get enough saliva inside your mouth before you chew it up or to coat the inside of your mouth. There was a trick to how to eat those.
Good tip.
And you don't drink water if you have something spicy. You eat something bland like milk or bread or rice, something like that. Or cracker. But don't drink water because oil and water don't mix. But the thing I like to have the flavor, and so I think it's important if you're going to taste something, you can taste the cumin, you can taste the chili, you can taste the nuances that make it separate.
That's the way I approach things in every facet of my life is you wouldn't know it from looking at me, but in moderation. So my advice to anybody who's cooking competition chili is that it should be spicy enough that you can taste
a little bit.
You can get a little bit of a kick, and even afterwards you get a little bit of a kick, but not so much that it's just that's all you taste is the spice.
Yeah.
And you're not, and it's not enjoyable.
that makes sense to me. It's like, what's a clue look like?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, do you think booth location has anything to do with
I
judging?
definitely do.
I do.
There is jockeying for these booths now. There is, if you've got like if you're Ashel House, or this year if you're Brith Shalom and you have some big Michigas kind of construction thing going on, you want to make sure you have enough room where you are so that people immediately adjacent to your booth, people can partake of the whatever activity you've added to your. I think like there's been like a little bowling lawn that somebody's had. There have been what else is like a dance floor. I mean, there's all really people get very creative. So you want to make sure there's enough room there. When you you want to be somewhat near the entrance, so, but you also want to be in a location where there's high traffic. If you are too close to the south end, so the entrance is sort of, if you're looking at if you're walking in the thing, it's sort of a big square. And you're walking in on the bottom left side of the square. If you are all the way to the right on the south end, nearest the entrance, it may be a long time before someone makes the whole circle and comes back around to you. And by then they're so full they may or may not
want to taste
your chili. So yes, location I think it doesn't have to do with the judging because the judges don't know where the booths are, but it may have to do with your the People's Choice Award or
that one, yeah.
or things like that.
Now I have another question. You've got a booth. You've paid your $500. You're given your materials, but are you having to share it with somebody? Do you have to share a booth with somebody behind you or beside you?
Yes, there are within each tent there are a number of tables, and the different groups share some preparation tables and are sort of elbow to elbow.
Uh-huh.
I will tell you from my first 2 or 3 years of actually cooking at the event before I became a full-time committee member, that was really enjoyable because you meet new people, you're on top of them, you have to be, and for the most part, 99+% of the time people are nice and polite and get along, and sometimes there's some elbows thrown, but nothing too dramatic. We never had any real issues, and but you meet new people, and then you're cooperative, and if you're out of something they may lend it to you, or if you're
we are all community, and we are all
right.
Well, how have they improved things over the years? How have you seen anything improve?
Well, let's see. The organization has improved. The quality of the equipment that we give out has improved. The number of teams has improved. The publicity has improved. The fundraising has improved. The silent auction is relatively new and has grown. Not only do we have our own silent auction, but we have a sports memorabilia silent auction group separately, sort of parallel with our silent auction, that will have some really nice pieces of University of Texas, University of Houston, Texas A&M, Astros, Texans, Oilers, and that kind of stuff.
There was some Jewish historical pieces last year.
We have a booth for the Texas Historical Society.
Yes.
In fact, when we had the proclamations from the county and the city a couple of years ago, they immediately took those and put them in the Texas Jewish Museum because it was
wow.
They thought so highly of that. Yeah, no, the event has grown and we've had more entertainment, more people, and more publicity.
It's terrific. Houston Kosher Chili Cookoff.com will get you there. $10 for adults, $6 for kids, and
children are $6 also.
That's what I said. Thank you, Barbara.
But come early because we run out of kids really quickly.
That's right. A goat. What my father bought.
Silent auction, entertainment, lots of great stuff. Guaranteed good time.
That's right.
But they don't let you have goat meat. They have to because you can have it, but not in their cook-off.
Let's thank our sponsors, Barbara.
Yeah, we want to try Paul Marcus with Houston. AffordableSearches.com is AffordableSearches.com. Sales Nexus is CRM and email marketing program.
Exactly. And Tony Noun
with AutoShoppers.biz that helped us get a car after the flood. You were in the hospital. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing for transportation.
But that's another story.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah.
And thank you again, Jerome Davis, engineer, and thank you, Ron
Coleman, MovieWhip.com,
who we should have a video of his show in 24 to 48 hours. Make sure you get a copy.
Sunday he can check.
Make sure you come a week from Saturday, the 28th, for the Houston Kosher.
A week from Saturday.
A week from Sunday. It's probably not going to be on Shabbat.
You're not going to be on Shabbat.
You can come, but you won't
get in.
That's right.
There won't be anything there.
Sunday, 28th.
You'll probably be able to find a parking space, though, if you come on Saturday.
You can leave your car there and come back.
Anyway,
I know.
On the street.
And you can listen to Small Business Today magazine talk show
on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.